Hello again. This is part 2 of my RC 4-wheel drive 1/14 scale overland. Now, my last video was just the first look and what I observed. Now I've spent probably about 5 days with it. Completely detailed it. I just could not stand the silver look. Even though the original Zetros is silver in its original form, these vehicles are used for a wide variety of different applications. Now, some of my observations from my first video were that the vehicle was, I want to say, poorly put together. But when it comes to having to take the vehicle apart to detail it, I found that was very instrumental in, once again, it's a heavy truck. In the detailing, it made it very easy to disassemble. Now, compared to some trucks, you have to remove the fuel tank, which are two, if you've ever done any RC 4-wheel drive, most wheel nuts that come with rims that you buy, if you buy the metal rims, will come with the rim tool. They fit these perfect. Take these two screws out, the fuel tank comes completely out. There's 2 bolts behind there. There's 2 bolts in the rear over here, both sides, 8 bolts. The bed is completely removed. There are 2 bolts on the body, looking straight down. And then there are also 2 bolts before you put the bumper on. There are 2 bolts in the front. And the body comes completely off. Now, the inside, all the windows come out. None of them are glued in. They are all made so the structure supports every piece. This glass, there are 4, 5, 6 screws. The door comes off, the window comes out. You have 4 bolts on the back side of the cab. Removes the whole rear of the cab. You can get access to the inside perfectly. Out of all the trucks I've ever gotten from RC 4-wheel drive / JS models, this truck was the easiest to disassemble. Everything is redundant. So once you have all the screws in it, it just reinforces the structure of the whole vehicle. I mentioned that I was missing a cap. It was in the goodie bag. So I wanted mine to look more like a utilitarian vehicle. So I made it a Forest Service. And U.S. government, thanks to the extra stickers with the Sendero kit from Team Associates, once again, it's a big heavy beast. And I got it too close to the camera, so if you back it up, all this structure for the bumper, there's 2 bolts on both sides to remove the bumper. Also 2 bolts on the inside, hold it to this metal undercarriage. Very heavy duty. I had to throw a little ring on there because it's going to be working. Just a little bit of I wanted to use some of the components still that came with the truck. So, since it was silver, the vents were chromed, so I left that one on. Everything, tiny, tiny Phillips heads everywhere. Or being in China, I don't know if they're using imperial standards or not. little bit of detailing goes a long way. Now it definitely looks like it's going to be doing a lot of work. Same thing with the inside of the cab on this one. Actually, I did a little more detail into this door. I got to do some more to the other side. But the cab, very detailed cab. Lots of little buttons and switches everywhere. But more importantly, I started looking at things. Now, I'm going to try to get it in a good view to compare it. But before I compare it, I would like to point out that out of all the RC four-wheel drive vehicles, this one has a distinct advantage in my opinion. Now we bring out the old stock radio that comes with all RC four-wheel drives. Now this has the cable lockers for the diffs, but it also has a 2-speed tranny, which you would not have noticed from the little tranny. So you have a little knob. When it's centered, it's in first gear. No diff locks. You go all the way to the right, you have 2-speed, which for an RC four-wheel drive vehicle is quite peppy. And then you go all the way to the left and you have your diff locks, which automatically puts it in low gear, which I think is excellent, where you don't have to hunt for gears, depending on what you're pulling, because this truck is heavy. Once you have a load in it, it's going to be even heavier. So that was the first time I've noticed that in an RC four-wheel drive. So I was pretty impressed with that. Now we went with the scale. This is listed as a 1/14 scale. But meanwhile, if you take, say I have an example of a Beast 2, which is listed as a 1/12 scale. When you put the two of them together, the Beast cab looks bigger. The overland is wider. And the bed is longer. But being that I've never had the chance of putting a Mercedes Zetros and a MAN military vehicle together, I'm not quite sure. Now, if you want to compare it to another 1/14 scale, this one's in a work in progress so far. He is definitely smaller in length, but the width is almost dead on. That is the RC four-wheel drive / JS scales. Heavy tonnage. FMX truck. That one's in the process of getting disassembled for a full scale detail. But I just wanted to show some of the scale for those of us that appreciate the 1/14 scale truck scene. I'm really liking the Zetros. And I really hope that RC4wd drive comes out with some actual decals for it or emblems for it, because I really want to make it the Zetros. Now, if I get my tape measures out, most 1/14 scale semis are 7 inches. Now, you've easily got another inch with the width of these trucks. So once again, never seeing one in real life, I'd really like to see the scale of them. I can't find a video anywhere with the scale of them right next to each other. Because, say, you put it up next to one of the the rigs. This one's my flatbed trailer that's been extended 8 inches to be more scale. It's 7.5, but the deck width is less than 7. So without making a trailer, which is my next project for my heavy haul, to make a 9-inch trailer so I could actually put the Zetros on it. Now I wanted to make a little running video, but I live in Alaska and we just had a major storm which dumped over 6 inches. We're getting another 4 to 6 inches tonight, so I'm hoping maybe by this weekend I could make a video of it actually driving. So once I'm done unplowing myself and getting dug out, I'll try to make a video of the Zetros. Now, I appreciate from my last video the few comments and the likes. I'd really like some comments to other people out there that are spend your winters, spend your summers enjoying the little trucks. Now, I enjoy the rock crawlers and the scalers and whatnot also, but I also enjoy the 1/14 scale trucks. And I always strive on making them actually be able to drive a little more rugged roads like we have up here in Alaska. So if you liked the video, give me a like. Till next time.